The 5150 Iconic EL34 amplifier has been out for a couple of months now, and of course with the arrival of this amplifier, there has been many questions on how different is it really from its sibling, the 6L6 Iconic. When I did my first impressions video of the 5150 Iconic EL34 amplifier, I did notice that there were a few different characteristics that seemed to be a little bit different from that of the 6L6 Iconic. And if you guys haven't seen that video yet, I will have the link for that up on the top of the screen here. But I really wanted to just pin the EL34 Iconic and the 6L6 Iconic against each other to find out, are these two amplifiers really that much different, or am I just that crazy to think so? When you look at the 5150 Iconic EL34 amplifier, there's really not that much different about it as far as looks goes, and on features it has all of the exact same features as the 6L6 Iconic. It has two different channels, has a 3-band EQ, a burn switch, a built-in noise gate, and reverb. So as far as features go, both of these amplifiers are the exact same. And of course, the black and gold finish and design on the EL34 Iconic looks absolutely killer, but where is the major difference between these two amplifiers? Other than the obvious use of EL34 power tubes versus that of 6L6 power tubes, the EL34 Iconic has been confirmed by the man himself, James Brown, to have a more warm and British sounding voice in the preamp. But even with these tweaks to the voicing in the preamp, how different does that make the EL34 Iconic to the 6L6 Iconic? And that is what we are here to find out. Let's go ahead and hook up the 5150 Iconic EL34 amplifier and the 6L6 amplifier. And then for the guitar that I'm going to be using today, I will be using my own custom archetype from Balliger Guitars that is loaded with a set of ferrule pickups. And then from both the EL34 Iconic and the 6L6 Iconic, I will be going into my Palmer speaker simulation DI box. And then from there, I will be going into my DAW using an impulse response that I made using the Studio Cabs Contenders plugin from Get Good Drums. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now it's for the moment of truth, everyone. I have the EL34 Iconic and the 6L6 Iconic right here, and I just kind of want to mess around with them a little bit. We're going to be starting out with the EL34 Iconic, and we're going to find out if I am truly crazy or not, because the video that I did last on the EL34 when it first came out, I thought that the gain texture felt a little bit different on it, and also James Brown has said that there is some changes to the preamp of the EL34 Iconic, making it a little bit more British sounding, a little bit more warm, and everything like that. So everything is basically set at 12 o'clock, and let's see the different sounds that we're getting out of this guy. So yeah, I'm definitely getting the warmth in there for sure. This is definitely a really rich and warm amplifier. So let me just kind of mess around with a few of the knobs here. Let's definitely bring down the mids, the bass, and boost up those highs. And I might actually bring up the presence ever so slightly as well. And let's see what we have here. God, yeah, this amplifier is just sounding so freaking good. I really like the EL34 Iconic. It's so rich, and the gain texture just still sounds a little bit different to me. Let me boost up that gain a little bit. And let's see if we can get just a little bit heavier, a little bit more saturated in there. I mean, in all honesty, I really don't need a boost with this amplifier, even though I'm the sort of person that loves to boost every single amplifier that I get my hands on, and I'll probably still even throw a boost in front of it, but I don't necessarily need it. I'm actually getting a really good tone without the boost in there. Yeah, definitely rich for sure. Let me change just a little bit of settings here. I want to lower the lows, maybe the resonance as well. And then let's bring up the presence even more. Yeah, just make it a little bit tighter in there for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm just really not having to work too hard to get a good tone out of this amplifier. It really does have a different feel to it. It really does. As crazy to some of you as it might sound, from the 6L6, I think there's definitely a difference in there. So let's go ahead and bring in a reverb here, and I'm gonna bring it to around, I don't know, let's try 6 o'clock or so. I typically like a pretty ambient reverb, but with this spring reverb on these amplifiers here, it can get to be a little bit too much, especially when you have it up all the way. So let's see what we have going on. Yeah, sounds pretty sweet. This is definitely pretty cool. It definitely handles leads very, very well. I think I am falling in love with the EL34 Iconic all over again here. But let me go ahead and engage the burn, which is kind of the built-in boost. And let's see what we have going on here. Yeah, that is a lot of gain. Oh my God. Okay, let me bring that down a little bit. You know, just like with the 6L6, in my own opinion, I think I actually prefer the Iconic amplifier without the burn switch on. The burn just isn't my favorite type of boost to an amplifier, and if I am going to boost these amplifiers, I would definitely use more of an external pedal, maybe the modern boost from Leak Audio, or even the TS808, which has always been one of my favorites. But that's enough on the EL34. Let's go in and check out the 6L6. All right, we are on to the 6L6 Iconic right here on the bottom, and something that I actually just noticed just a little bit ago while I was setting this up, the values on the volume knob seem to be a little bit different from that of the EL34. I'm actually having to have the volume higher on the 6L6 than with the EL34. It doesn't really make a huge difference. It's a very minimal difference, but I did notice at the same setting that I had the EL34 at, the 6L6 actually wasn't making any noise, so I had to kind of bring up those volumes just a little bit. But right now I have everything set at 12 o'clock, and let's see what we have going on here versus what we had with the EL34. Yeah, actually that is way different at 12 o'clock, where the EL34 was a lot more warm, a lot more lower end mids, some low end in there, everything. This one is a lot more bitey, a little bit more cold, and that's something that I was thinking of when I first started playing on the EL34. And I love both of these amplifiers, but the 6L6 definitely seems to be a little bit more cold, a little bit more bitey on that top end up in there. But let me just kind of turn a few knobs here. Really don't have to do too much because actually it's pretty tight sounding already, but I'm just gonna ever so slightly lower those lows. I might even boost the mids a little bit. Let's see what we have going on there. And then also let's bring up that distortion, bring up that gain right in there. That is actually super interesting. So the 6L6 Iconic is definitely a tighter amplifier in comparison to the EL34 Iconic. And the EQ values are way different. Just the way that the EQ reacts and everything. It is a lot more warmer, a lot more mids for sure. There's definitely a big difference in the EQing and the preamp sound in the EL34 than there is in the 6L6. So if you want a tighter amplifier, I would probably recommend the 6L6 Iconic. And then if you want something a little bit more British sounding, something a little bit more warm, more full sounding, then I would definitely say the EL34. And as far as the gain texture goes on the EL34 Iconic versus the 6L6 Iconic, it's actually not that much different. I was thinking there was a world of difference in the feel of the gain texture, and there might be a ever so slightly minuscule difference in there, but in a full mix where you have drums, where you have bass, you have vocals, you have synths and everything in there, those minuscule differences really don't matter that much. That is crazy. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna boost up the resonance. I'm actually gonna bring the presence down on the 6L6, and let's see what we got here. Very powerful resonance knob for sure. Let's go ahead and bring in the reverb. Let's test out some lead parts. Let's just have some fun here. Yeah, my mind is absolutely blown right now. These amplifiers are way more different than I actually thought they were gonna be. Yeah, the gain texture I thought was gonna be a lot more different, and it wasn't as different as I originally thought. And then the EQ, the preamp, the voicing of it is quite a bit different between the two of these. And yeah, you'll get the tighter, you'll get the more full, the richer amplifier right here. But yeah, that is super interesting. Let's check out the burn on the 6L6 and let's see how I feel about the burn still. I'm still not liking the burn switch on these amplifiers. I would still just boost it with a boost pedal or a tube screamer or something like that, but that is absolutely crazy. Yeah, no, both these amplifiers are pretty different. But let's go ahead and hear both of these amplifiers in a full mix with drums and bass and everything. And I'm gonna periodically switch between the 6L6 and the EL34 amplifier just to kind of really show you guys a back-to-back A/B comparison. And let's see how it holds up. I'm actually really surprised on just how different the voicing of the EL34 Iconic was compared to that of the 6L6 Iconic. It was a lot more warm, and you could definitely hear a lot of those British tones in there with the more prominent mids going on. As far as the 6L6 goes, it was definitely more tight of an amplifier, and it had quite a bit of bite up on that top end. As far as the texture of the gain on both of these amplifiers go, originally I thought there was actually a pretty massive difference between the texture of the gain on the EL34 Iconic and the texture of the gain on the 6L6 Iconic. And as we found out, there is very little difference between the texture of the gain on both of these amplifiers, if even any difference at all. And when I really think about it, I shouldn't be surprised because both of these amplifiers are 5150 Iconics, a part of the same series. If you're looking at both of these amplifiers and still wondering which one is right for you, then I would say if you are looking for a very tight tone, something that you would hear in a lot of modern metal music nowadays, I would go with the 6L6 Iconic. And then if you are looking for something that is more full of warmth and body while not being too tight, then the EL34 amplifier would be perfect for you. Both of these amplifiers are absolutely amazing, especially for the price. And if anyone is looking into buying them, I do highly recommend it. Let me know down in the comments below which Iconic amplifier did you like the most, and also why. I'm really excited to see what you guys have to say. Also, if you're wanting to help support the channel and keep me making these awesome videos, please check out all the affiliate links that I have down in the description below. I will have a link for both of these amplifiers in the description as well. And if you are enjoying my videos in any way, shape, or form, please hit that subscribe button and that like button because that helps me out a ton here on the channel. And with that being said, guys, my name is Chris with High Impact Audio, and I will see y'all next time.